Hey, everybody. Hey, welcome to this latest episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning here. And we are going to be going over Nobody 2 here tonight. And I thought that this job was going to be way too big a job for just me here. So I wanted to enlist some professional help, some acclaimed help. And so I am going to be bringing up my very special guest here after we take care of this.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
All right, everybody. So, yes, I owe you a special guest, and so I am going to bring him up in a minute here. And just let me tell you here real quick, as if you haven't seen all the ads and notifications that I put out there, of course, my special guest is Christian Toto. And you have seen him on Fox News, the Megyn Kelly Show, the Adam Carolla Show, plenty of other places there as well. He is the acclaimed author of a great book here that I've read a couple times here, Virtue Bombs, How Hollywood Got Woke and Lost Its Soul. And also he is the host of the Hollywood in Toto podcast or show, whatever you like to call that there. And now you can actually watch Hollywood in Toto as well. Okay, so without further ado, let me bring up the man himself here, and there we go. And Christian, thanks a lot again for joining me. Hopefully, I'm coming in loud and clear here for you.
Loud and clear, and thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for being on here. And yeah, I did. Hopefully, that was enough buttering up for you. There.
A little more next time, but that's okay for now.
Exactly. I don't know if it's as much butter as in the popcorn that's in that picture right there sitting next to you there. But I always like to do that. But yeah, you deserve it. And it's good that the one reason that I think that is because it's great to have someone who specializes in the pop culture world and all of that. That's actually doesn't hate like middle America, doesn't hate common sense conservative people or anything like that. I doubt you hate anybody, but like it's you basically you talk to the common man, right? And you get too many of the experts and I guess just analysts and whatever you like to call yourself, the most lavish name you like to put on yourself, please, by all means. But I mean, the most of them, there's like they're too West Coast or too East Coast. They just have that the kind of uppity sensibility where you're like, hey, I'm going to get along with everybody. I just want to talk movies, TV, pop culture of any type and that kind of thing. And that's what I appreciate about you. And I see that's, I would imagine that's at least one reason if you're on Fox News and the Megyn Kelly Show and that kind of thing. But anyway, so yeah, if you wouldn't mind, if you want to comment on all that I just threw out there, I know there's a lot to throw out there, and tell us a little bit about yourself there, good sir.
Yeah, I don't think I have a lot of hate in me except for the legacy media, which I do share that you can't hate the media meme enough.
Oh yeah,
social media.
Yep,
so
exactly.
There's that. But yeah, I'm a right of center film critic. There aren't that many of us out there. Love Hollywood, love movies. I enjoy many actors and the work they do, but I have a bone to pick with some of their policies, and I also don't want to get insulted by them on any sort of regular basis. So I try to kind of walk the line between giving half the country a voice, because they often don't get that in entertainment press, and also not being vicious or rumor mongering. I don't like to do that as well. So that's kind of where I am, in a weird spot. I'm a little bit unicorny, maybe with some polka dots and shades of gray, perhaps. But
sure,
yeah, that's what I've been doing for quite a while now.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I mean that's one thing I admire about you, and then others as well, where the ones that you don't jump the gun, right? You'd rather be right than first. and you definitely you deliberate about things. You're analytical, and because you want to get that thing right. I mean, the internet is the internet way too much, I find, and I fall prey to it too. I mean, I'll see a story and what they're doing. They're going to have who in the Snow White movie, then I just start typing a little post up there and whatnot, and I'm outraged, and then later on, like a half a day or a day later on, you find out this person's not going to be in this movie. Everyone's getting outraged, for nothing, and I can't say I'm above that. I mean, I try not to do that anymore, and I was much worse about that before, but then. All it takes is being embarrassed a few times, with stuff like that. And you're like, oh yeah, I've said that Kathleen Kennedy is fired way too many times.
Fired and hired, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like every 5 minutes, somebody wishful thinks on on X or whatever. And like, oh, I heard a rumor. My third cousin's barbers. Sisters, husbands, gynecologists' cousin said that Kathleen, Kennedy is going to be fired any day now, and you hear that way too much. But you would triple check sources and all that stuff, whereas the internet does not.
Yeah, listen, I do try to. I mean, I'm sure I've gotten busted a couple of times, and you have to be super careful. And listen, we're all pretty savvy about the web right now, but with AI and the way that certain fake news stories are framed, it's getting harder. But also, I think you touch on something really important. It's that whole wishful thinking thing, where, oh my gosh, I want that to be true, so I'm going to believe it's true, and not do your due diligence. So, I mean, I think everyone out there really we should all try to up our game and just make it a little more accurate, a little more truthful. A quick example was the Howard Stern situation, where I think the Sun said he's been fired or canceled, and that ricocheted around the web. Nothing has happened yet. His contract is coming up. He may not resign. He may resign. We just don't know. But the whole Howard Stern has been fired, he's canceled. No, it's not true. We just don't know yet.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And speaking of Howard Stern, I'm glad you brought him up, because I did like your episode, a couple episodes ago, when you were talking about the whole Howard Stern situation right there. And, I liked how you had the anecdote about how you sent a letter. I think it was that you sent a letter to them, and then Robin Quivers was making fun of your last name. And you're like, and I'm not going to step on your story here. If you feel free to tell the story right there, but I thought that was a great story about, hey, Howard Stern knows Christian Toto's name.
It's crazy. I was in Pittsburgh writing for the Pittsburgh Tribune Review, and I had a column, and I just wrote about different topics, whatever was on my mind. And I wrote a column defending my king, the king of all media. And then I kind of, because this is old school, I snipped it out, sent it to his office just for, I don't know, S and giggles, you might say. And then one morning I was like half asleep, half awake. And I heard my name, because I always listen to him the first thing in the morning. And and I went over to my boom box, and I put a cassette in. Again, I'm dating myself aggressively, and hit record. So I've got most of that conversation. It's kind of amazing.
So you're like, just where you're just brushing your teeth, like, all right, hey, what a good, oh my God, I just heard my name.
You don't hear actually, you do hear Toto a lot, maybe a toilet or a Wizard of Oz.
All right.
Not in conversations on the radio. So
yeah, like I heard Toto. Oh, they're just playing Rosanna again. Okay, there you go. Yeah.
I've never been so happy to be insulted by someone like Robin Quivers. So
right, exactly. Yeah, well, it's kind of like I'm sure obviously you know Nerdrotic and Gary and he was the other day. He was kind of had the same sentiment, but about William Shatner. Because it was like, well, yeah, William Shatner, he's making fun of me, he's ripping on me, but it's William Shatner. It's like, yeah, I love it. That's Captain Kirk. If I'm going to let anybody, run me over with a bus, I mean, that's Captain Kirk, so yeah.
I'd pay good money for that.
Yeah, exactly. There's probably some places in Amsterdam where you can pay good money for something like that. But I was going to say, I hope you don't mind talking some Raising Arizona here before we get into the Nobody 2 right there, because I remember last time you were on, and I saw the Raising Arizona poster on your wall there, and I was like, oh man, Christian, man, when you come back on, we got to talk some Raising Arizona here, because I love that movie. It's revolutionary. It's a pop culture icon, I think. And so I was, and of course, I mean, I come with pictures, of course, here as well. Nice. So there. So that's cool if you've got some Raising Arizona conversation in you tonight. So
yeah, it is insanely quotable. I remember going into a gas station years ago, and there were people behind the counter swapping Raising Arizona quotes. I thought, these are my people. This is why I love this movie. And also, just since I'm doing the whole Wayback Machine, way back in the day when VCRs ruled, I worked at a video store, and every Saturday night at 7:30, I would pop in our copy of Raising Arizona, because at 7:30 on a Saturday night, it was frantic in the store. And I just loved having it on the background. In the background, I heard the music, the crazy yodeling, everything about it was sort of off the off the hinges. And I just loved having it play in the background. And I'm sure my coworkers were like, "Dear Lord, can you stop playing that movie on Saturday night?" But they were always very patient and very kind with me. They let me play it again and again. But I just love it to death.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a great movie to have, like, because I remember, like, in video stores, they'd have the monitors up, they'd have the TVs up, and they'd be playing some movie. And yeah, it's got so many great visuals that it's a great movie to play on the TV to get your customers to go, "Hey, what's this movie playing up here?" You know, I mean, oh well, that's Raising Arizona. I mean, come on. Oh, would you like to rent it? Well, you got plenty of copies there on aisle 2. You know, so yeah.
Right. Just to show you how crazy I am. I remember we only had 2 copies of the movie at the time. It was 26. They were marked with numbers, 2690 and 2691. I remember that from the late 1980s. I couldn't tell you anything about my marriage, about my social life, but certain things lock in this head, and that's one of them. Call me crazy.
Yeah. Your wife's like, "What's our song we played at our wedding?" I don't know. Well, what's the numbers on Raising Arizona there at the video store? Like, she's like, "You jerk." That's awesome. Well, hopefully your wedding song wasn't the yodeling from Raising Arizona. So, yeah.
If I thought of it, I might have put it there, but
that would have been hilarious right there. Yeah, I mean that, when and I love the perfect music placement of that yodeling when you see the opening title come up after one of the longest intros that you'll ever see in a movie. So yeah that was like I thought it was the longest intro I've ever seen, and then I saw RRR a couple years ago. You don't see the opening title to RRR, which is it's an Indian movie, but you don't see the opening titles on that one until an hour into the movie or something. So yeah,
they wanted to beat Raising Arizona, and they did. So
yeah, they did. They most certainly did right there. But yeah, I mean, one thing I like about Raising Arizona is I just like how it does have like the feeling or the sentiment of appreciating family and the importance of family and wanting a family, and they want to. They want a critter, as H.I. McDonough, Nicolas Cage's character calls it. And of course, then, unfortunately, they find out that H.I. seed can find no purchase there, and they got to go. And of course, they can't adopt a kid because he's got a criminal record. I mean, the whole deal in the movie, and then they go kidnap Nathan Jr. But I like, in the middle of all of that craziness, it's a pro-family movie, and you've got. Nathan Arizona and his wife, and they're dearly missing their missing child, and then you got you've got John Goodman and William Forsythe. They're like that brotherly family love. I kind of like that pro family message in the movie.
Yeah, and just one other little point about the movie: it's 87, obviously mid 80s, where and when you see almost every 80s movie, either there's a synth soundtrack, or you got the shoulder pads, or you just instantly visually know this is an 80s movie. And Raising Arizona doesn't really have that stamp. It's very idiosyncratic and unique in that way. It just doesn't jump out at you. It's an 80s movie, but it is.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. I mean, it sounds different than any Carter Burwell soundtrack that I've heard in a Coen Brothers movie, because it's got kind of like a soft, if I remember, kind of a soft synth sound of the soundtrack. Particularly at the ending, like when you've got Nicolas Cage's narration over he's doing like his kind of dreaming, he's having like these visuals and that kind of thing. And Carter Burwell's music's like this very soft, kind of touching, endearing synth music, and it's completely different than I mean, it's completely different from that.
You're making me want to see it again.
Think about it. Yeah,
I haven't seen it in a few months. I need to re-up. So,
yeah, exactly. And then and this, I don't know if this is the movie that made Nicolas Cage a star or anything like that. I mean, because I think he'd been Fast Times at Ridgemont High before this. I think he was it Birdie? Was he in Birdie, I think?
Yeah, he'd done a few. I mean, Peggy Sue Got Married.
Oh,
he
that's
had
right.
some stuff on his resume, but that was the most eclectic. It just showed his range. And
yeah,
to me, it put Coen Brothers on the map. I know Blood Simple was their first film, and that shook up a lot of people. But I mean, that combination, imagine making that kind of film noir and then making this. They're
right.
just so talented.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I mean, and they do have. Well, I guess they don't have a whole lot. Well, I guess okay. So they had Frances McDormand. She was in Blood Simple. Yeah. Emmett Walsh. She was in Blood Simple. They had him in Raising Arizona as well. There. So, but yeah, that's probably about the only correlations between this and Blood Simple, because Blood Simple is like just this very slow burn murder mystery, film noir kind of thing. And then all of a sudden, then you get Raising Arizona. It's like basically a Looney Tunes like a live action Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yeah.
There with some surprising emotion behind it with like the marital strife that they portray between H.I. and Ed in this, and so and you got messaging behind it. You got H.I. and he's trying to go against who he really is. He's trying to be a family man, but he's going through all these struggles and he's having to fight against that. And so there's so many different, very interesting messages in this movie. Yeah,
it's one of the movies you can truly watch again and again. As many times as I've seen it, I've lost count. I imagine I could still find something new and fresh and different, or a line that you missed the first dozen times. I mean, it's so layered, and that's what's kind of intoxicating about it. It's just every time you see it, there's something new.
Well, okay then. It's like the lines like that, right?
Yeah,
simplistic one. Yeah,
I didn't.
And I think that I love it. Yeah. But I mean, like it just the characters in there, and sometimes I'll find myself like saying lines from this movie out of the blue, which makes me sound crazy because sometimes I'll be sitting here and I'll be like, repeat offender, and but and then William Forsythe, I like him in this picture right here because when I think of William Forsythe here, the guy on the left, for anybody who doesn't know it, well, everybody knows who John Goodman is. So for the process of elimination, you can probably tell who William Forsythe is. But I always think William Forsythe as a bad guy, right? He's been the bad guy in a bunch of movies, Out for Justice and Stone Cold, and now and here he's like this dopey criminal in this. I always thought that was kind of funny.
I think 2 days ago I was saying to myself with my kid in the back of the car, everybody freeze, everybody down on the ground. Which is it, young fella?
Well, are you wanting me to freeze or drop to the floor? So yeah. I love the part where they make the guy count down.
That's right.
And he's like 871, 872. Screw this, and he gets up. He sees their car coming back.
And I saw it in the theater. I remember I saw it. Actually, one last little note about it. I was with my high school buddies. They were kind of a rambunctious bunch. And I think I had picked the movie. I didn't really know much about it. And I went in there and they were very skeptical of my choice. And we would kind of bust each other's chops often. And they weren't quite sold initially. But in that mid-movie, the diaper stealing sequence, remember one buddy turned to me and said, that just saved your testicles, meaning he was going to remove them from me if it was a bad movie.
Oh, right. So a lot was at stake. So okay,
apparently.
Okay, yeah. It's not like just kind of betting $5 here, or maybe he was going to buy the next beer the first round. It's literal body parts. So, well, it's kind of fortuitous that we have Holly Hunter, a picture of her right there, because I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, I forgot that she was in Raising Arizona and Broadcast News all the same year.
Wow, yeah, great year.
Oh yeah, I mean, and what a contrast of roles right here. I mean, she's playing like Jane, this news producer, character in Broadcast News, going up against William Hurt and Albert Brooks, and all these got Jack Nicholson at one point here. So she's very career driven, and I'm moving up the corporate network ladder and all that stuff. And she's in the big city. And then here she's Ed, the the police woman in Arizona, rural Arizona. And I just thought that the roles very much contrasted.
Yeah, I've never interviewed her. I'd love to kind of do a little deep dive into that year for her, and mine must have been amazing.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, because she worked with a lot of great actors in that year right there. I mean, and of course, was it James L. Brooks, directed broadcast news, and then we got the Coen brothers. She collaborates with the Coen brothers in '87, and yeah, this must have been just this amazing year. And she was kind of pretty new in her career at that point.
Yeah.
Because she hadn't really been in much of it. She'd been in a couple TV movies. I think she was in one movie that is known before she was in this, but I can't remember what the name of it was here. But yeah, this is, I think I always thought Broadcast News was the movie that really put her on a map because she's so charismatic and quirky in that movie. And she's going up against some big timers. When William Hurt was. He's no slouch as an actor, back then. I mean, he'd been Gorky Park and, The Big Chill and all these heavy movies and that kind of thing. And then now she's going up against him. And of course, he played kind of a dope in the movie, but
it's a great character. I mean, James L. Brooks had that sweet spot. That in terms of endearment, good as it gets. And he's got a new movie coming out. The name is escaping me. I really hope he recaptures the magic because we need more good movies from James L. Brooks.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, As Good as It Gets. That's another great one from him. And then Albert Brooks. Because I think Albert Brooks is his brother. Is that right?
With him, I don't know.
I can't remember. I think they're related somehow. Okay. But I was about to say, I love when he collaborates with his brother Albert Brooks. And that seed of doubt kind of crept on. But I don't know if they're related or not. But yeah. But
I know he was related to Super Dave, and he had passed away.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Super Dave Osborne there. Yep, actually, yeah, gone too soon. So yeah. He had some. He had an unexpectedly kind of good role in Ocean's 13. There, I always knew him as Super Dave, and all of a sudden, when I watched Ocean's 13, like it's freaking Super Dave. But Arizona, Raising Arizona. I wanted to talk about that. Oh, Barry Sonnenfeld. I don't want to wrap up our conversation about Raising Arizona without telling you about how much I appreciate Barry Sonnenfeld and just the way the camera work in this movie and amazing, right?
Yeah, it's spectacular. The name has escaped me, but Barry Sonnenfeld had a autobiography that came out maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Really a good read. He's a great storyteller, and he had some curious pit stops along the way in his career. I'll just put it that way. So, but he's a genius. And obviously he went on to the Addams Family. He's done some other films. I think he did Get Shorty as well. But he was just a cinematographer at the time. I mean, that's just part of the magic of the movie.
Oh, yeah. Yep, exactly right there. I mean, because, with the way that he filmed it, the camera angles, this, I guess, I don't know what, and then just the scene where you got Nathan Jr., he's sitting in the baby seat, then they have the station wagon pull up on him and and almost hits him. And of course, I guess the wide consensus on that as well. They didn't film it they didn't literally put a baby and then run a car right up to it.
Oops,
they did it. They filmed it in reverse, and then they filmed it in reverse or something. So yeah, because I was watching a show the other day, Red Letter Media, and they had Macaulay Culkin on this Red Letter Media show, and they were talking about Raising Arizona. And they said, Macaulay Culkin said, they have a similar shot in Home Alone as that you probably know where, Macaulay Culkin, he's walking across the street and then the wet bandits almost hit him in their van, and Macaulay Culkin's like, and so they have that's a similar shot in Home Alone as to the shot or similar to the shot that's in Raising Arizona with Nathan Jr. And just so when you have shots like that, daring, revolutionary shots like that, and then just the dogs, the whole chase scene that you were talking about before, with the camera behind the dogs, and then he's running down the aisles with the Huggies and running through the houses, and and I'm wondering if the part where he's running through the house, and I'm sorry if my mind goes all over the place there, Christian, I apologize, but
that's right.
The part where they're running through the house, I'm wondering if Catherine Bigelow saw that later on, it's a good chase scene. I think I'll throw that into Point Break, when I'm having Keanu chase Patrick Swayze, so. You
never know. I mean, you never know what you get inspired by, and it could even be subconscious where you've seen that loved it, and then like a couple of years later, you're making a movie and you decide to kind of do a similar shot. Could be an authentic, and actually something that was an homage, or even just something that just kind of happened. So,
exactly. So so maybe the Coen brothers and Barry Sonnenfeld, they saw Point Break. They're like, oh, it's a great movie. Whoa! They're stealing our stuff. Well, they might be like, but we didn't throw a dog at somebody, so we didn't do that. So that's one original thing they did in that scene there. But gotcha. So I know I only have you for so long in this here, and so I suppose we should probably get into some Nobody 2 here, and so just and I asked this assuming you've seen Nobody 2, but just kind of your general thoughts about it.
Yeah, I think I didn't love the original Nobody as much as a lot of people. People just fell in love with it, and I kind of rewatched it and appreciated it more. But casting Bob Odenkirk as this sort of super spy / assassin just seemed like a crazy decision, but it worked beautifully. And the first film did catch everyone off guard. Yeah. And so part of the problem with the sequel in theory is that sense of surprise is gone. You can't do it. And even in the beginning of the movie, you weren't quite sure who this guy was or what he was capable of. So, but I think given all that, they do the best they can with the movie. I thought the action scenes pop. I thought the comic moments were good. And once again, Odenkirk is a oddly successful and believable action guy. And he also takes a lot of punishment, which I think is part of the odd charm of it. He's not a Rambo guy. But now his character Hutch trying to kind of keep the peace on the home front. His wife is frustrated by his schedule, and understandably so. So he decides to take the family on a vacation, kind of one of the places he grew up around, a water park. And he just thought, let's make some great memories in the great Clark Griswold tradition. And of course, work can't escape him. His temper can't escape him, and things get complicated from there. But yeah, I had a good time. It was it's the kind of movie it knows exactly what it wants to do. It has no pretensions. Odenkirk is great again. Yeah. And I thought it was perfectly fine. It's sequel-y for sure. It can't replicate the magic, but I found it breezy, entertaining. I think it wraps in around 90 minutes, which is what you want, I think. And I had a good time. I don't think people would be that upset or disappointed. But having said all that, the box office was rather mild, around 9 or so million. I thought, given the love for the first one, that it would, it would amplify, that this one would be much bigger. But I don't know. Every time you think Hollywood, audiences throw you a curveball.
Yeah, you never know, right? Exactly. So, like you said, the box office wasn't that great. I thought it wasn't that great. Technically, it made more than the first one did in its first weekend and whatnot. But the first one came out it was like one of the first big releases, when COVID was kind of starting to simmer down and that kind of thing. So it had that going against it right there. But I like the original one better because of something that you touched on where it was the nostalgia of the thing, where, you didn't know. I mean, obviously, if you watch the trailers, Bob Odenkirk is this secret action agent, agent assassin, that kind of thing. If you watch it, but it still had that you didn't know how dangerous he was going to be until you watched the movie, and it had that freshness to it, right? And then we saw a whole movie with Bob Odenkirk, kicking ass and chewing bubble gum, and then we got a taste of that for a whole movie. But now you got Nobody 2. We're like, and let's do it again, but with a different, obviously you're right, different flavor. He's going on vacation, in this one here. But I think Bob Odenkirk is one. I think he's the one that makes Nobody 2 tolerable for me. I mean. I think that it basically resembles too many other movies for me when I'm watching it there. And I thought that, and in my spoiler-free review I did back on Sunday, one thing that I didn't like about it is I thought that the acting was way too wooden with everybody except for Bob Odenkirk. I think RZA. It's RZA's okay. I mean, I always liked him in Wu-Tang. There, I know he's trying to be an actor here, but I thought his acting is. I thought his acting was anything remarkable there. Christopher Lloyd, his acting I thought was wooden, but that's just because he's getting up there, and I will never say a bad thing about Christopher Lloyd. That's Doc Brown right there, man. He's a legend. He's a legend. I'm not gonna ever. And he's Uncle Fester as well, of course. And so I will, but I mean, we all, time comes for us all. I thought he was kind of, his acting was kind of wood, but I mean, he had the most fun with the part that he could. I did like the part where he comes out of the nursing home in his Hawaiian shirt, and all the elderly ladies like, hey, all right, checking him out, and he's like, hey, I'll get with you. I'll get with you all later, that kind of thing. So,
what'd you think of
Connie Nielsen? Yeah, go ahead there, Christian.
What'd you think of Sharon Stone as the villain?
I'll tell you, Christian, she's one of those ones where I'm having a really hard time separating the artist from the art. Okay. I try to do that. Right. And I think you probably know where I'm going with this, her comments, when she was over in Italy and she was talking about how Trump supporters, or she basically, and I'm paraphrasing here, but she was like, Trump supporters, the only reason they're too dumb, they're dumb enough to vote for Trump is because they don't travel, they don't have passports, they don't, they don't leave the country. And so I try to separate the artist from the art, with like Mark Ruffalo and Schwarzenegger and those kind of, but I just couldn't do it this time, Christian, just couldn't do it. But I think that even though if during that press conference in Italy, even if she would have been like, oh man, I love Trump, I love Trump supporters, or maybe if she just would have left politics out of it. I thought that her performance was a little too hammy for me there. And I know that she's going for like the big over the top, criminal mastermind spiel. I mean, ironically, kind of like another movie she was in way back in the days, The Specialist, right? Where James Woods was playing like the big over the top, hammy kind of villain, when she was with Sly Stallone. But I think I wonder if she's trying to channel James Woods in The Specialist, kind of going back to that. You're like, I'm going to ham it up and I'm just going to be this over the top criminal. I just thought that for me, she didn't pull it off. But that's just, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think that's on her, because I think when you have a great actor like a Sean Penn, I think a lot of people have some negative feelings about Sean Penn, but he's just a genius level actor. So we can watch him and really appreciate him and put aside the whole, boy, did he say something stupid last week kind of a thing. Right. So, I just think my guess is Stone wasn't good enough to kind of make you forget that she's Sharon Stone. But
right, exactly. Yeah, it's like right. Sean Penn's a perfect example because I think by the time he was in Mystic River and he had that Oscar winning role there, I think he had he made his disdain for conservatives known, maybe not as prominently as we know now, but I'm pretty sure I knew back then, like, okay, he's not a person who just doesn't agree with conservatives. I mean, like, I have no problem with like people not agreeing with conservatives and maybe like just keeping their mouth shut and just going to the ballot box and casting their vote, and you never know how they vote. Yeah. I don't have a problem with that. But Sean Penn, I think at that point he had gone beyond that, and he'd said some stuff that lets like, hey, I'm liberal and I'm happy to vote liberal, and I really don't like conservatives. Like that last part I don't like. You don't have to say that. You can say you're liberal. You can vote for all the liberals and what you want. It's just that part where you feel you have to dunk on the other side. And he had done that before Mystic River. Again, not to the point that he's done it now. And his performance in Mr. River was so good. I'm like, I completely forgot about that. So that's a great point you made. Is like sometimes the performance is so good, you're like, political commentary? What political commentary?
That's right. Yeah, I think my big pet peeve is not that they're political, not that they disagree with me, but often it's poorly thought out or angry or or misinformation on steroids. That's where it kind of sticks in my craw, because I have friends and neighbors who disagree with me politically. I don't care. I'm all good.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you say, you just wonder where they get their information, or I don't know if it's their PR person or they listen to the talking points on CNN and MSNBC, which pretty much like they make conservatives out to be like these caricatures, right? Like these racist, xenophobic, sexist, pick whatever phobe and ist word you want to pick. Like they paint us as these caricatures there, which, like, speaking for myself, I'm pretty sure I can speak for you. Like, we're not racist, we're not xenophobic, we're not these things. And so, like, they form their political opinions on these false pretenses. And it's like, it kills me. Like, okay, you're so good at this one thing, being an actor, and you don't take the time to maybe do your own research. And
also, I mean, they should
people.
have more empathy toward other people who disagree with them. I mean, that's kind of, a lot of actors have a great, pool of empathy to draw upon to play characters they don't like, to convey different people. I you often hear the stories about actors who play villains, like, well, I need to find the goodness in him, or why she believes what she believes, or that kernel that they could build upon. It's part of the actor's toolkit. And but when it comes to real life, they don't always do that. Two quickies. One, I have an ongoing feature of my site. Sort of, these stars didn't just attack Trump; they attacked the voters, and I keep adding to it because I keep getting new editions of it. But also, I just saw a new movie. It's called The Elephant in the Room. It got no publicity, no attention, nothing. It's on VOD right now. And it's a love story about a liberal woman who meets a guy who voted for Trump, and they kind of have a flirtation, and they're trying to figure out, can we make this work even though we're different? And it's a really good film. I've been covering it quite a bit on my site, on my podcast. I'm going to talk about it this week. But I want more people to know about it, because I really thought, I mean, it's just a quality film. It touches on a really kind of an important issue in a way. And also, I thought the director, who I spoke to, and he leans left, privately, he really did a great job of bringing genuine balance and not making the conservative an ogre or a monster. These are two people who are flawed, who you kind of like them both. I like the female character very much. Yeah, she was charming, but she was probably more dogmatic about her views than he was. So I don't know. I want to I like to spread the word about that one. The Elephant in the Room. Good, smart rom-com. Not hysterical, not wacky. Kate Hudson doesn't make any appearances, but a much better film, you think, and maybe it's the movie we need right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So The Elephant in the Room, is that kind of referring to the difference in political perspectives, I guess, or something like that? So
I was surprised by it.
What's that?
I was surprised. I enjoyed it. Remember, I saw the trailer. I thought, oh, that trailer's not bad. That's actually kind of interesting. And the movie followed suit.
Yeah, check that out. Yeah, and you said you're going to be talking about that like in an upcoming episode of Hollywood and Toto.
Yeah, I want to dig into that. I actually spoke to, there's a company called Bridge Entertainment Labs. I don't know why I'm blanking the name. Bridge Entertainment Labs, and their mission is to kind of look at pop culture and see how we can make stories that are not divisive but more unifying. And that was probably their big movie out of the gate. So I think they're off to a good start. Yeah, absolutely, right there. I mean, I think that for me, if a movie like you're describing there, the Elephant in the Room, that gives a movie gravitas. To me, it gives it a respectability, because I don't expect every movie to be like pro-conservative, pro-Trump, pro-America. I don't want that to ever get boring. I want balanced perspectives, right? I want to hear. I mean, I don't claim to think like all my opinions are correct. I like to keep an open mind, but I don't like it where you get like the Rob Reiners, and others where they just come at it from one perspective. And I think it would be amazing, like if Rob Reiner came out with a movie where it was like the movie we were just talking about, where he comes out with something where it's like, wow, okay, there's something to piss off liberals, something to piss off conservatives, but there's also something to make conservatives happy and liberals happy. And this is just a movie that maybe it's either there to make you think or entertain you or both, dare you. I mean, I love movies like that. So and I think that making the characters balanced and not like she's bad and he's good or vice versa actually makes it a better movie. It's more it's more complicated that way. Exactly. There's more tension, and it's just interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like a movie that just popped in my head is The Contender. Of course, with Joan Allen and Jeff Bridges and Gary Oldman, and that was one where Rod Lurie, and I think maybe some the big wigs. I can't remember if it was at Hollywood Pictures or whoever came out with that. I think it was DreamWorks. They wanted Gary Oldman's character. He kind of played like the slimy Republican congressman that didn't want Joan Allen to be the vice president, and they wanted to put something in that movie where it made him look even worse than he was in that movie. And Gary Oldman, to his credit, he was like, no, I'm not going to let you put that and make my character like this comic book villain, and this caricature of evil and malevolence and, nefariousness. I was like, no, that's going to make it way too one-sided. You're going to be basically showing your ass too much this movie. Like, oh, this is an allegory about, Republicans bad and, Democrats good. Because, of course, Jeff Bridges and Joan Allen, they were the Democrats, right? And Sam Elliott did a great job in that movie there. And I always remember, like, Gary Oldman, good for you. I mean, I imagine he's probably, I'm not even going to guess what he is, but if I had to guess, I'd say liberal. But I think that at the very least, he was contemplative and considerate, and I always like that. So Gary Oldman, in addition to his great acting, he always gets a tip of the cap from me for that. So
yeah, and I think when Gary Oldman gives you some pretty credible advice about a movie, you probably should listen. At least take it under advisement. Right,
exactly, yeah. Especially when you ask him, like, who should we call? Everyone. I love that line from The Professional. So yeah, I've startled some people a couple of times in my life where they'll ask me something and then I'll just pull that whole everyone thing. But Gary Oldman, just very lots of praise to go to him. I mean, what an eclectic career. But we'll have to check that out. Oh, and then so you were going to be talking about the elephant in the room here in an upcoming episode of Hollywood in Toto. And to that end, everyone, we got the Hollywood in Toto link in the description down below. And I wanted to mention all this before I forgot. While I had you here. So there's all of Christian's links down in the description. There's X, accounts and all of that stuff down there, and check that out. I think it's cool though that we can watch you now on, and I just realized that sounded very creepy when I said that. I know we can watch you now on your show. But yeah, you can watch. We watch you on the show now. It was just the podcast version before, and I think like when last year you hadn't quite gotten to the visual part of it yet. But I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm kind of dragged kicking and screaming into the 21st century, but but that's the way people consume content now, is the YouTube. And I often, when I go to bed, I don't watch TV. I'll probably put on one of my favorite YouTube podcasts and close my eyes and drift off, and all of a sudden I wake up at 3:00 and my iPad is still on and something's pumping out of it.
Well, right.
I gotta find some sort of sleep timer on my devices. I think I've not mastered that yet, but Yeah, no, it's the wave of the future, and it's fun and it's interactive, and it's so empowering that we can kind of be here having this conversation. We're not on a news network. We're just kind of doing it, on our own and succeeding and getting our voices out there. And, I think that's great. And I think it really, on a certain level, puts a lot of pressure on Hollywood, because like the Tim Dillons of the world and the Ryan Longs and these comedians who are really funny and really kind of telling jokes without a net, they can be your late night entertainment now. You don't have to work on a Colbert or Kimmel. You can just watch that and be entertained. And the budget is dramatically lower. And those guys and gals are making a profit. So God bless them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they are, cognizant enough to know the wave of the future, right? They know where the direction of multimedia is going. I mean, obviously, we still have, the big three networks there, and CNN and MSNBC and whatnot. But they're not going to go the way of the Velociraptor next week, but their time is coming. And one thing that I hear complaints about, with like YouTube and Rumble and places like that is, people don't like the low bar of entry. And there's a lower bar of entry. I mean, it's like, it's a lot easier to start up a podcast than be like Brett Baer on Fox News. He kind of had to go through a few more hurdles to get where he's at in Fox News than I did, just firing up my webcam and getting a microphone and whatnot. So I totally appreciate that. But along with that low bar of entry, though, once you sift out the chaff, basically, right, you get great shows where it's very informal and you learn a lot of things. You're entertained, but also in a fashion where it feels like you're talking to people that are just talking to each other across a table at a fast food place or at the picnic table at a family reunion. It just feels very conversational, and I definitely like that. I mean, like Adam, when you're on Adam Carolla, there when you're talking to him, I mean, you remember with Adam Carolla, and he's like very conversational, right? He's just like, and that guy, and I don't have his talent because that guy could talk for days and days and days about this topic and that kind of thing, but he does it in a very conversational style where we're on there, anybody else is on there. it's comforting, and I like that about the YouTube Rumble world. So
yeah, and then we have people like the Critical Drinker who are just great. I mean, they're funny, they're insightful, they're different, they have a great voice, and you know, I don't think that's possible 10 years ago. Maybe even not. I don't know. I think he's more entertaining than most shows on TV right now.
Oh, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, he's that guy can write. I mean, when I watch his pre-recorded, you know, content that he does right there, you know, yeah, he's very introspective, and you know, he's funny. You know, he adds humor to it, but there's some brain cells behind that humor.
Yeah, it's just a one-trick pony if he doesn't know what he's talking about as far as stories and scripts and plots and what's missing. And no, the more you listen to him, the more he understands all these elements.
Sure.
And then he brings the humor as well. It's a great combination.
Yep, exactly. And I think they're enjoying the spoils of, I don't say the war, but enjoying the spoils of like calling it ahead of when it actually happened. And what I'm referring to there, of course, is, you know, calling it where they knew studios were not going to be into the woke content and into the lecturing and what I call woke after school specials. And I don't know if you ever seen it in my Sunday shows I do. I have a segment called "Is This Movie a Woke After School Special?" And at first I have to explain to all the Gen Z and the Gen Alpha, like, hey, what's an after school special? But then after that, you know, then I'm like, you know, and then I talk about it if the movie's a woke after school special. And so the Critical Drinkers and Nerdrotics and Chris Gorers out there, and you know, they yourself as well. I need to include you on that. Like, you guys saw that. Yeah, I mean, funny enough, audiences don't like to be lectured in their movies. They want to be entertained. They want to be Top Gun Maverick. They want to be F1'd. They don't want to be you know, dear white people, and you know, they don't want to be. I can't remember. It was a mysterious society of magical, you know, Negroes, you know, the other day and whatnot, and that kind of thing. It's like, what? Like, they don't want that. They want, you know, entertainment. That's you know, that's entertainment. That's entertaining. So
yeah, and you know, there's always a place for those kind of movies too. That's great. It's kind of part of the whole canvas of stories to tell. But just when you lean too hard in that direction, and you're not kind of understanding that people want different things. And by the way, you know, if studio heads or executives or peons listen to you, listen to me, listen to the Critical Drinker, probably could save them a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go. I mean, you know, I think that one guy explained it to me, because I'm always scratching my head, like, don't they worry about money and making money? Don't they worry about, like, you know, losing their studios there? And I listened to like this Jesse Kelly. I don't know if you've ever heard of Jesse Kelly there, and he puts he's got a pretty good explanation to it. I don't expect everyone to believe it, but he's talking about, like, well, you know, the communists, they believe in revolution, and the revolution, making money, that's not their main thing. Their whole thing is winning the war, winning the revolution, getting their message out there, and you know, punishing their enemies and rewarding their friends, and they don't care about money or anything like that. But I think that I don't know if that works too well though with the studios. And we're gonna see exactly how communist they are, because I mean, I'm sure they're not going to want to lose their studios.
Yeah, you know, no, I think there's some wisdom in what he said, but at some point you got to keep the lights on, and that's when the rubber hits the road. Right,
exactly. Yeah, because I mean, you see like Bob Iger, you know, he's getting heat from, you know, the shareholders there, and you know, everyone's always paying attention to the stockholder meetings. You know, he's like Valiant Renegade. I don't know if you follow him on X, but he's following like the Disney stock meetings. They're feeling that financial heat, and I think like and I always, like, you know, you heard me mention it earlier, I always try to get F1 mentioned in all my shows, right? Because I love that movie.
Yeah,
one of my favorite movies. Yeah, and so I was like, so I think like they're finding out we need to have more F1s than you know like movies that people would consider woke there, because like F1 I like, and you know, that's one of those movies where I watch it and I walked out of the theater like pumping my fist, like, yeah, I love this movie. And same with Top Gun Maverick, and you know, Funny Bee. Yeah, I think we need more movies like that.
And ironically, they have the same director, so there's not an accident. Right. Movies are so good, so compelling, so uplifting, and so needed right now.
Oh, right, yeah, exactly. So, and that's what they want. And I mean, like, you're talking about like, not every movie has to be, you know, uproarious and inspiring. I mean, like, back in the late 90s, we had movies that maybe people consider controversial, like, John Singleton came out with Higher Learning there. And I remember that was some people like, oh, that movie's kind of questionable there. And so, yeah, I mean, movies that touch on social commentary, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, obviously Boys in the Hood and that it's just the ones that malevolently, is that a word? Malevolently go after like one group of people there, and they're not doing it out of good faith. That's what I have a problem with there. It's one of those things where I just want to have movie. I want people to either be informed or entertained or both when they go see a movie there. But speaking of which, like, since I have you, and I know that you have a heart out here, but so, I mean, do you have have you kind of compiled in your mind like your favorite movies so far this year, to where you mind sharing a few with us?
Off the top of my head, Weapons, which just came out, I think it's terrific. Actually, my top 2 this year are both horror movies that are original. Sinners was terrific as well. I don't know if Companion came out in 2024 or 2025, but I thought
it did come out this year. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I'd probably put that on my list as well.
Yeah.
I need to kind of think a little harder on that, but those are the 2 that come straight to mind.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put Fantastic Four up there, but I was genuinely surprised how much I enjoyed that, how it did feel complete in a way that I think a lot of MCU films have not. So I don't know if it rises to that level, but I often, when I do my best stuff listed in the year, I have to lower the bar because often you don't get a lot of entries. So that might make the cut. I don't know. I was just pleasantly surprised by it.
Oh yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think like I'd say with my list, I've got a lot of horror movies on mine too, because Weapons. That F1 was my favorite movie of the year.
Yeah, F1.
And then Weapons knocked it off the top spot. So now, sorry, F1, you got the silver. Weapons has got the gold here. I thought Weapons was great. Yeah. What's that?
No shame in that.
No shame in that. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, Zach Cregger is knocking out of the park. I mean, he's I was gonna say 2-0, but he had Miss March. He had that movie way back in the day that he did. So technically, this is not his second movie, but so yeah, he's like, what would that make it? He's like, yeah, he's 2-1. There you go. So I thought, Weapons was a great movie. Sinners I liked. I'm not going to put it in my top 5. I think with that movie, I think I saw it like, I don't know, it resembled too many other movies for me there. And I was like, and then when I was watching the movie, it's like, hey, where's the vampires? I mean, I get like build up the characters and whatnot. Yeah, exactly. And I did love the music, and I love the character development and whatnot. But I thought that they should have put like sprinkle like a vampire scene, like maybe one in the first act or something like that.
I think I actually would have tied the film together with that in there for sure. And also, I thought there's a scene near the very end. It's a shooting scene with guns. I thought that was completely unnecessary, but
Oh yeah. Right, yeah. And I was about to say, I think, I don't know if Ryan Coogler was going there, like, if what he was thinking when he did, like, here's another scene where I'm going to get Whitey. I'm not going to say he was thinking that, but, but that kind of came off that way to me. Like I said, I thought that was a little excessive. I mean, the story had been told at that point.
Yeah, it was unnecessary for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I thought it had some beautiful moments in it. I mean, I like that when he's, spoilers, everybody. I know the movie's been out for a few months, but when Michael B. Jordan with the, I guess the more stoic, serious Michael B. Jordan, I forget his name in that, but when he's dying, and he can tell he's dying because he sees his, I think, was it his wife? I think.
Is it love interest? Did you say love interest at the very end?
mother of his child or something like that. And then he sees like his baby daughter there, and she had passed on a number of years ago. And I was like, that's a beautiful moment, man. Like Ryan Coogler, let's see more of that. That's great. That's a beautiful moment in that movie. But the movie was, I thought, the movie was, okay in my book. I mean, I know a lot of people liked it more than I did, and I was like the uncool person who didn't like it as much as other people. So Weapons, F1. I really liked, the Companion as well. Right there, I thought that was a fresh take. it's almost like I wonder, it is people, they sold it as a horror movie, but it's almost like it kind of came off more like Westworld, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. It kind of bounce around genres, a little sci-fi for sure.
Yeah, there. And then Heart Eyes. I liked Heart Eyes. That was one of those movies that flew under the radar there. I liked Heart Eyes because I like horror movies, but if they can incorporate funniness into it as well, that'll always get me right there. And they kind of combined the comedy of the horror. It didn't have the same topic as An American Werewolf in London, but it did kind of have like that kind of John Landis kind of, let's put a little humor in here, let's throw a little horror in there, let's blend it all up together and have a good time there. So I did like that. Warfare, but totally different subject. Warfare, I thought was pretty good there, covering, I think it was the Iraq War there with Joseph Quinn and some other great actors. So yeah, it's I'm sure I'm like you, your favorites kind of cover a whole wide gambit of things right there. And then I thought I heard you say, so at the end of this year, you're coming out with like a best of or something, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, and every year I kind of do a best of and worst of. But actually, the worst of is much more fun. So.
Exactly. I imagine that's pretty fun right there. So, but well, I appreciate you coming on here. Yeah, Christian, I don't want to hold you up. It's always fun, and hopefully I can get you back on here again. You know, I think next time I think we got to do Better Off Dead. I mean, we're just going to go through all the movie posters.
Do the whole wall next time.
Do the whole wall right there, exactly. And then Step Brothers. I'll do Step Brothers right there. And Better Off Dead is the source of another random phrase that I like to throw out there, and people are like, "What are you talking about?" And I'll just walk around and $2, you know. And so that's another great '80s movie, and yeah, I just think that you know, if you're like me, you like to harken back and watch some '80s movies, just kind of bring the nostalgia back. And I don't know if you're like me, when you watch '80s movies, and obviously for obvious reasons, it's just the feel of them are so different than what we see today. It just kind of brings a rush of memories back.
Yep. Oh, it's amazing.
Yep, you bet. So, all right. Hey, well, like I said, everybody, all of the links to get to Christian's great content, all his great stuff, you know, grab his book. You get his book, Virtue Bombs, How Hollywood Got Woke and Lost Its Soul. You know, it basically encompasses and covers all that stuff, and all the kind of a one-stop literary shop there. It's a great read. There, and then of course check out Hollywood in Toto, where you can watch him now there, and don't say it creepily like I did earlier. So and check that out. He's also he's got great interviews with directors and producers and people that, you know, make movies and whatnot, and he's got a very introspective takes, much more mentally thought out than mine, I would say, right there.
Wow. I would disagree, but that's okay.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly, right there. Yeah, because but it's fascinating and very interesting to hear. So yeah, let's give it up for Christian Toto here, and thanks a lot, good sir, and hopefully I haven't scared you off from making another appearance here on Movies Merica. So
no worries, we'll do it again. Thanks.
All right, hey, all the best to you. See ya. All right, that is one Christian Toto right there, and yeah, always great to have him on the show, right? And because he's just got these interesting perspectives on pop culture there, and, you know, not just movies. You know, he's talking about Howard Stern earlier, and you know, talking about his story about sending the letter to Howard Stern, and Robin Quivers and Howard Stern were reading it on air, and sad to say, you know, Howard, it's almost like you lose the gravitas or the credibility of bragging about Howard Stern, as you know, not, you can't brag about him as much as you could have before, because now he's kind of such a loser, you know. But back, but it's still a cool story. It's still a very cool story. I've never had Robin Quivers and Howard Stern mention my name there, so it's a very cool story there. But yeah, check out all of Christian's, you know, all his great stuff that he comes out with. Again, his show, his book there, and again, all the links are down in the description for the great Christian Toto. And Lindy Rig 87, thanks a lot for yeah, joining here in the live chat. Good to see you here joining the show, and hopefully you've enjoyed what you've heard there. So, and wanted to try to throw in not just some Nobody 2. In retrospect, we didn't really cover Nobody 2 as much as I was planning there. That's not any fault of Christian's. That was my scatterbrain self going off in totally different tangents and directions and that kind of thing. But hey, it's my show. I'm allowed, right? So if you want to watch a show where someone kind of stays more on a straight, more orderly thought path, then yeah, go watch somebody else's show. Sometimes on my show, I just get completely scatterbrained, and what I was planning on talking about barely gets covered, and what I wasn't planning on talking about, basically, it just gets talked about ad nauseum right there. So real quick here, just let me remind you that we do have this thing called the like button down below, and if you are enjoying this episode here, if I haven't scared you off, or basically have I don't know, kind of what's the word I'm looking for, alienated you enough to click the like button. Hey, click that like button right on down there, okay? And then also, if you haven't already, go ahead and click the follow or subscribe button on whatever platform you're watching watching the show on, Rumble or YouTube. And then also there's a notification bell down there as well, and that's what you would click if you want to get notifications when there's a piping hot, fresh, sizzling new episode of Movies Merica ready just for you, okay? And then to my viewers that aren't watching live, you're watching the recording of this. Well, first off, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. But I just want to let you know that we can still communicate with each other, but we're just going to have to do it via the comments section down below. And you throw whatever comment that you want down there in the comments section. You want to talk about, hey, what did you think of my talk with Christian Toto? What do you think of, Nobody 2 or Raising Arizona? Hey, it's your comments section. You can comment about whatever you want down there. I just hope that I hear from you. That would be fantastic for me to, just kind of hear from everyone there. And of course, that's a great place to let me know, hey, hey, Van, I think you need to do this more, or you need to do this less, or, you could do this to have a better show. I'm always up for constructive criticism because I'm not so egotistical that I think that I'm doing everything perfectly or anything like that. I am not that conceited. I'm kind of conceited, but not that conceited there as we continue the show right there. But, for anybody that's watching and they wanted me to talk about Nobody 2 more, I will say this. So I think that the problem I had with Nobody 2 is that it seemed like everyone was kind of going through the motions in that movie, except for Bob Oedenkirk. I think if Bob Oedenkirk was just going through the motions, then he hid that very, very well. And that's a sign of a good actor, right? If you are an actor in a movie and you're not really that excited about it, but your acting is so good that you can cover that up, it's a fantastic actor, okay? But I just kind of got the impression that Connie Nielsen and the kids and some others in there, like some of the, like Colin Hanks, and who was the guy that John Ortiz, he played like the guy who owned the amusement park and whatnot. I just thought like they just kind of felt like their performances were phoned in, and then I thought that we've seen the family goes on vacation thing as a premise for an action movie before, and so what's going to happen. And I think that also the first Nobody kind of had a harder edge to it, right? I think it had a little bit more griminess to it, and so it had a little bit more gravitas, a little bit more heft to it than Nobody 2. Nobody 2 just kind of seemed a little too goofy for me. And so I think that's one of the reasons that I didn't like it. I think Christian liked it a little bit more than I did. there. I mean, then of course, I explained to him what I really try to get through in my spoiler-free review of Nobody 2 that I did on Sunday, where I just was struggling to separate the art from the artist with Sharon Stone. But like I told him, even if she would have never said that stuff, I just think that her performance was just too over the top, right? And I know I get the idea. The baddie that she was trying to play is over the top, is flamboyant, is kicks it too far, goes too far, and I get that's a trope in movies, and that's what she was going for. But I think like she still went too far with it. I think she I suspect she went too far with it because she's really trying to get her acting career back on the map and that kind of thing, and she's trying to get back in the good graces and get hired for stuff again. Because let's face it, everybody, it's been a while since we've seen Sharon Stone in any prominent movies, right? Total Recall and Basic Instinct were a long time ago, all right? And even the movie that I mentioned when Christian was still on here, The Specialist, that she was in with Sylvester Stallone and James Woods and Eric Roberts, that was a long time ago as well. But so if we never see Sharon Stone in another movie again, I'm not exactly going to be crying buckets of tears over that whatsoever. And then I just thought that, think that the stunt work in this movie wasn't to the level that we've been conditioned to be accustomed to with the John Wick movies. And I bring up John Wick because the studio or the organization that does the fight choreography, that does the action choreography for the John Wick movies, it's called 8711, and it's started by David Leitch and Chad Stahelski. Chad Stahelski, the guy that's going to be directing the upcoming Highlander movie there with Henry Cavill in it there, and so Chad Stahelski, he's been the director for most of the John Wick movies, and so they started up this 8711 action team organization that is responsible for the stunts that we've seen in the John Wick movies. And you know what? I think that you would have to agree with me. The action choreography in the John Wick movies has been spectacular, been incredible, right? Because it's done by actual stuntmen. I mean, Chad Stahelski was a stunt guy. David Leitch, who co-directed the first John Wick with him, was a stunt guy as well. David Leitch has gone on to direct The Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling and Atomic Blonde and Bullet Train. These guys are stunt guys, right? And so they've done a smash-up job with the stunts in the John Wick movies. But then it just kind of seems like they kind of half-assed the action in Nobody 2. They also did the action work in the first Nobody as well. So I think that's another ding against Nobody 2 for me in my book. And again, and that's with me trying not to be Mr. Poo-poo your movie, right? I'm not trying to be Mr. Grouch with the movie there. I like I always say, I go in rooting for the movie to be good because I'm a movie critic, and yeah, that's part of the job. You got to go see movies, good or bad, right? And the more that are good, it makes my job that much more enjoyable. So I'm rooting for the movie to be good. I mean, like I always give the example, the Crow remake that came out last year. I was rooting for that one to be good. Why? Because I have to sit through that for 90 minutes or 2 hours or 2.5 minutes. I want that sucker to be good. All right. Otherwise, and of course it wasn't. It was a pile of dog shit, and so I had to sit through it there. And that's me. That's the first world, my world version of falling on a grenade is, oh, I went and saw a shitty movie for you to warn you against it. So so that does not deserve the, not all heroes wear capes. That doesn't deserve that sentiment. All right. Me going to see a shitty movie is not the same as me falling on an actual grenade. I realize that. I appreciate that. So, All right, let's do this here real quick because I'm getting very thirsty, and I've got a beer over here on my left side staring me in the face. All right, so yeah, as you guys know, if you've seen the show before, I'm referring to Brew Review Time. All right, everybody, let me introduce you to the brew for tonight's Brew Review Time. And then it comes to us from Invictus Brewing Company, and that is their Salted Nut Roll Golden Ale. And this is a very Minnesota beer here because Invictus Brewing Company, it's in Blaine, Minnesota. And then the Pearson Candy Company that makes the salted nut rolls that you can, go into, any candy aisle and get. They're headquartered in the Twin Cities. So this is a very Minnesota beer that we're checking out here. And so, yeah, this beer is basically the love child of a candy-fueled tryst between, again, this Invictus Brewing Company and the Pearson Candy Company. And, it's like the name says, it's infused with salted nut rolls and caramel and nougat. And it's, it's to that end, it's got a flavor. It's got a rich flavor to it, and a little too rich for my taste. Okay, so I can't recommend this beer. Now you guys might like it, but just obviously this is my opinion, and my opinion is that the flavor is a little too rich. It's got a little too salted, a little too much nut. It's got a little too much roll in it. Okay, in this bad boy right there. Now. That being said, it is a light-bodied beer, but again, the flavor is just a little too much for me. I don't like this much candy store in my beer. Okay, so I don't like this much Willy Wonka in my beer there. But I would say though, even though this beer is made in Minnesota, I would not pair it with hot dish. Okay, or as us non-Minnesotans call it, tater tot. What the fuck? Tater tot casserole. There you go. At least people call it hot. The people that call it hot dish, at least they could say the name of the hot dish right there. Apparently, I can't even talk right here tonight. So, and I barely drank this here, so I can't blame the booze for my speech impediment. Okay, but anyway, so even though I was kind of knocking on this beer earlier, I am indeed thirsty, so I'm going to take a drink off this bad boy. Excellent. All right. So, but yeah, that comes in at 5.2 alcohol by volume here for this salted nut roll golden ale. But you know what? Hey, I mean, it's a free country. You could try it, and you guys might like it. You might drink it, you might be like, "Hey, Van, what are you talking about, man? That stuff's great. What are you smoking over there, man?" And hey, great place to let me know that is down in the comments section. Okay, if you're watching this show after the fact, yeah, let me know that in the comments section. Let me know, hey, Van, your taste of beers sucks. Okay, there we go. And so, yeah, let's speaking of my sucky beer taste, let's wrap up this brew review time. All right, everybody, let me take care of a little business over here, a little house cleaning or housekeeping or however you whatever you call that here. So let's do this. And all right. Oops. Come on. Oops. There we go. Can't control my mouse here very well. All right. And let's get this. Ooh, all right. Yep. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. Just want to check something out and get this all going out there. And we are going to talk more Nobody 2 here in just one quick minute there. But if you want, if you guys have seen Nobody 2, in the live chat, feel free to let me know, hey, what did you think of Nobody 2? All right. It's my opinion is not the only opinion out there. as far as Nobody 2 goes. I mean, someone might be able to convince me that, hey, this movie is good. I've got an open mind. Who knows? I mean, you might tell me something about this movie, and you might be like, might be able to say that magical thing that convinces me to like Nobody 2. But you know what? I'll have to say, I got to warn you, you're gonna have your work cut out for you. I didn't think that movie was that great, as you guys can tell, already here. And again, I was rooting for this movie to be good. I wanted it to be good, and I like Bob Odenkirk there. I like him, Better Call Saul, and in Breaking Bad and Mr. Show. There, I liked him in his, he had his recurring guest spots on How I Met Your Mother and all of that stuff there. So I was rooting for the guy, but just didn't do it for me there in this movie there. And I think that with this movie, the debut weekend for it, not so good. I think that more people, or there were others that weren't really looking forward to this movie near as much as the studios were hoping. They kind of had that non-anticipation like I had here, because like Christian was talking about, it didn't do that well at the box office, but amazingly enough, it still actually made more money than the original Nobody did in its first weekend. But like I was saying before, that was probably because it was released during COVID, and so it didn't make as much money. But I think if the first Nobody was released right now, I think it probably would have taken maybe the top spot at the box office this weekend. I mean, I love Weapons, and maybe when the first Nobody came out, if it would have came out this weekend, maybe it would have taken the number one spot. Who knows? I mean, that's just a thought experiment for something that's never gonna take place there. So, but I think, I don't know, the jury's still out. I don't know if there's going to be a Nobody 3 out there. Maybe it'll make enough money. I mean, the budget for this movie was not that high. And that's another thing you could tell about this movie is you could tell the budget's not, very impressive. It's not very high. It does kind of have, in some parts, it does have a cheap look to it. The violence in it, when, the impact from people getting shot looks kind of cheap and chintzy. And, it doesn't take place in a lot of locations. I mean, this is not a James Bond movie, where they're in Istanbul, and now I'm in Rio de Janeiro, and now I'm in New York City, and now I'm in Beijing, and now I'm in London. It's a very limited location movie. So it didn't cost a whole lot. So it's going to be easier for Nobody to recoup its money there. So, but we'll see. I'll be interested to see what Bob Odenkirk's coming out with next year. Let me take a look here, because I wonder if he's going to be. Let's take a look. I'm going to cheat here, everybody. Oedenkirk. There we go. Okay. I guess you guys lost me there. I came back here and suddenly I was off the screen there for a second. Okay, there we go. Let's check that out. That's not going to look too good. There we go. I'm back. I don't know what happened there. This software, sometimes it just zigs when it should zag, and it does crazy stuff like that. But anyway, I know that fascinating stuff, right? Oh yeah, we wanted to hear all about what Bob Oedenkirk was going to be doing next there, Van. Thank you for enlightening us all about that. Well, real quick here, this is something I'm sure you actually do want to hear about, and that would be the Movies Merica merch that we have available. Okay, we have Movies Merica t-shirts, shot glasses, pint glasses, jewelry, smartphone cases with Movies Merica emblazoned on it there. And you can get your hands on that very easily by clicking on the Movies merch or the merch link down in the description of the show right there, okay? And then when you click on that link, obviously it'll take you to the merch store. Honestly, you might have to do a little scrolling down to get to the Movies Merica stuff right there, or it might pop up right away. You never know. There, but yeah, check that out. Buy some stuff for yourself. Movies Merica merch makes a great gift, unless you're buying a gift for your wife for her anniversary. And in that case, I honestly, even though I'm trying to hawk this stuff, I would not go with Movies Merica merch for your wedding anniversary right there, because you'll be definitely it'll be couch meet Henry meet couch. Okay, don't be Henry. All right, don't be that guy. But for every other occasion, hey, Movies Merica merch, get your hands on it. There's things that you wouldn't even imagine that have the Movies Merica logo on it there at the Movies Merica or the merch store there. So again, the merch store link is down in the description, waiting for you to click on it and spend some of your hard-earned clams there. So absolutely get that done right there. Hey, treat yourself to some good old Movies Merica merch there. So now back to Nobody 2 here, just real quick here. I don't want to completely crap on this, and so I do want to bring up one good aspect of Nobody 2. It had zero woke in it. I don't think it had any woke in it. If I have to think that hard about whether a movie has woke in it, it must not have woke in it. Okay, because if it's that microscopic and subtle and hidden, I don't consider that woke. Okay. So I'm not one of those guys that is going to take a scalpel and in a microscope and really try to dig for anything woke. For me, the woke has to be like so in your face, so obvious, so what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, obvious is a good word. We'll stick with that word there for me to call something woke there. And I think I was watching a show earlier today, and somebody was saying, she phrased it the wrong way. She was saying people use the word woke way too easily. I would rephrase it as no, some people use the word woke too liberally. They're just too quick to throw that word out there. But some guys that, that Christian and I were talking about earlier that are very good and very judicious in their usage of the word woke are guys like the Critical Drinker and Chris Gore and Nerdrotic and guys like that. So I like to think of myself as peers of theirs, and the fact that hey, I try to be judicious with my use of the word woke right there. So because you don't want to abuse it and water it down or anything like that. Kind of like how liberals, how communists have watered down the impact of the word racist because they use it way too much. They use it so much in situations where it has no business being used. And it's just because the word racist for liberals and communists, it's like it's their verbal security blanket, right? It's their verbal whoopee there. And so the word racist basically has zero to no impact anymore because it's just been overused. So, and I don't want the same thing to happen to the word woke there. So, all right, let's do this. I want to make sure. I want to check some chats out here and see if I'm not missing anybody there. So, all right, let me check something here. I'm gonna do a little investigation here real quick because I am curious about something, and so when my curiosity gets the better of me, I just have to look here real quick. And as I do this, talk amongst yourselves, if you like, right there. So, and all right, okay, let's see here. We got that. Okay, yep. Okay, guys. I just confirmed something that I was suspecting here. So, but real quick, let me remind you that, go ahead and get in the live chat there. If you are watching the show right now, feel free to get in the live chat. And I don't expect you to I don't expect you to type in the Gettysburg Address, or a paragraph of stuff in the live chat. Hey, if you just simply want to just give me a thumbs up, that's totally cool. Or if you just want to type in, "Hey, Van, you suck," that's cool too. That is technically communication. All right, there you go. And I am no shrinking violet. I am not fragile. If you throw stuff like that at me, it's almost like I'm Superman. Ping, 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 ping. When bullets hit them, ping, 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 just bounce off them. There you go. So so throw your hate, your death threats at me. That's all good. And hey, what better place to throw those death threats than the live chat? There you go. Now, if you want to be nice to me in the live chat too, all right, you can do that as well. So, or hey, if you're just listening to me and you're maybe watching an NFL preseason game right now, hey, let me know what NFL preseason game you're watching right now. So it's like there's a lot of entertainment choices at your fingertips, especially at this time of year because we're getting into the NFL season, the college football season. And so I know, like, with this show being on Thursday nights, I am definitely going to have my work cut out for me because that darn NFL, they have, NFL games on, on more days and more nights than ever. So, so gotta try to tantalize and entertain to get that audience right there. So, but I don't know, the NFL, I don't even watch the NFL anymore just because it's basically turned into the Black Lives Matter. I don't even call it the NFL anymore. I call it the BLM is what I call it now there. So but outside of that, it's becoming like too feminized too. Like football, like professional football is like it's like the ballet there. I've seen quilting bees with more hard hitting than some of these NFL games nowadays, right there. So, but anyway, so again, that's my little encouragement session to encourage you to get in the live chat there and just say hi there, okay? Real quick, I'm going to give me a drink off my beer, and again, that's a reminder for you guys to drink on whatever you guys are drinking there as well. So. All right, there we go. I want to make sure I'm on screen. Make sure that the software didn't knock me off a screen there again, because that would be bad. All right, that's a good way to get people not to watch the show is if they just see a background and nobody on there, and they're like, "This show is lame. What the hell? The guy can't even afford a camera. He's not even on screen. What a loser!" All right, but this next segment is not a loser. Okay, this next segment is a winner, a champion. More to the point, a hero, okay? And that would be the movie military moment segment, okay? And the reason I say hero is because the military service people that I honor during the movie military moment, they are heroes, true heroes, okay? And we hear the word hero thrown about, way too liberally nowadays, but these guys, true heroes, okay? And so to explain to you what the movie military moment is, so it's where I give myself a few minutes to pay tribute to military service people that have been awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. Okay. Now, right now, you might be going, hey, Van, that's very honorable, very touching of you to do that. I admire that about you. What the hell does that have to do with movies, man? Well, you know what? That's a good question. I get it. All right. I understand that question, and I'm going to answer that question, but not until after this. All right, everybody. So, yes, I owe you an explanation. So, the connection between me honoring these Congressional Medal of Honor recipients and movies is, as you would imagine, if you are awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor, you got it for doing something spectacular, something monumental, okay? Something where it's more than just being the best boot polisher on the base or being the best letter sorter at the military base post office, right? You got it. You were awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor for doing something just so heroic. Like, you are a helicopter pilot in Vietnam, right? You're a NAM, and you're flying your Huey, and you've got Army who's down on the ground, and they're trying to fight VC that are surrounding them, and they're outnumbered. There's so many more VC. That's Viet Cong for you civilians. That's what VC stands for. And you got Army down there, the American Army, U.S. Army, and they are just taking it on. They are getting it handed to them by the VC. And you're a helicopter pilot, and you got supplies in the back, and you're also there to evac the wounded. And you know that you got to get those jobs done because men are going to die if you don't get the supplies down there and you don't evac the wounded. But your helicopter is taking heavy fire, man. All right, you're getting RPGs shot at you. You get small arms fire. You're flying this helicopter, and you just keep hearing pop, 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 pop. It's just rounds that keep hitting your helicopter. And if you ever like seen like a Huey, if you like touch the metal, if you touch the outside of a metal, those things, they're basically they got the toughness of like a sardine can. These things are not impenetrable. Okay, but in spite of that, you're like, you know what? I don't care. I'm going down there. I don't care how hot that LZ, that's landing zone again for all you civilians. That hot LZ, I'm going down there. I'm landing. I don't care. All right, I gotta get these supplies to the men, and I gotta get the wounded evac'd out of there. So you keep going and you keep landing in this hot LZ and taking fire, and you are completely not even you're disregarding your own safety to help out these soldiers, right? And you keep doing it over and over again. You fly out the evac, fly out the wounded, you bring more supplies, you keep doing it over and over again with no regard to your safety whatsoever. And so if you were to see that on a big movie screen, that would be a stupendous, monumental movie military moment. And that's the connection right there, okay? And if that doesn't spell it out to you, I don't know what will, all right? But so we're going to get right into it. And the proud honoree, is that a word? Honoree. There we go. We're going to go with that. The proud honoree for honoree. Yeah, there we go. Honoree for this movie military moment is one Second Lieutenant Walter Joseph Marm Jr., who fought for us in Vietnam. All right. And so I'm going to read his citation and what he did to be awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. But I think it would be very cool, very, very cool if we gave Second Lieutenant Marm Jr. some very, very cool movie military moment music. I mean, don't you think that'd be cool? I think it would be. So without further ado, let's take care of that business right now. This is the movie military moment. And in this movie military moment, we pay tribute to one Second Lieutenant Walter Joseph Marm Jr., who fought in Vietnam. And let's learn more about Second Lieutenant Walter Joseph Marm Jr., shall we? For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty, as a platoon leader in the 1st Cavalry Division Air Mobile, First Lieutenant Marm just demonstrated indomitable courage during a combat operation. His company was moving through the valley to relieve a friendly unit surrounded by an enemy force of estimated regimental size. First Lieutenant Marm led his platoon through withering fire until they were finally forced to take cover. Realizing that his platoon could not hold very long and seeing 4 enemy soldiers moving into his position, he moved quickly under heavy fire and annihilated all 4. Then seeing that his platoon was receiving intensive fire from a concealed machine gun, he deliberately exposed himself to draw its fire. Thus locating its position, he attempted to destroy it with an anti-tank weapon. Although he inflicted casualties, the weapon did not silence the enemy fire. Quickly disregarding the intense fire directed on him and his platoon, he charged 30 meters across open ground and hurled grenades into the enemy position, killing some of the 8 insurgents manning it. Although severely wounded, when his grenades were expended, armed with only a rifle, he continued the momentum of his assault on the position and killed the remainder of the enemy. First Lieutenant Marm's selfless actions reduced the fire of his platoon, broke the enemy assault, and rallied his unit to continue towards the accomplishment of this mission. First Lieutenant Marm's gallantry on the battlefield and his extraordinary intrepidity at the risk of his life are in the highest traditions of the U.S. Army and reflect great credit upon himself and the armed forces of his country. And we salute you, Second Lieutenant Walter Joseph Marm Jr., for what you did to be awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. And that has been the Movie Military Moment. All right, there you go. Always love doing those. And so he fought in Vietnam. And where was that? So it looks like, he was in Ai Drang Valley. That's where that took place there. Where Second Lieutenant Walter Joseph Marm Jr. in 1965 here. Let me check that date here. I wonder, is that I wonder if that's the same date. Okay. All right. Let's see here. So, the Battle of Ai Drang Valley, dramatized in the film We Are Soldiers, took place from November 14th to November 18th, 1965. And looks like, so the Medal of Honor action date for Second Lieutenant Marm Jr. was November 14th, 1965, right there. So, he was part of the fighting that you will see or have seen if you've seen the movie We Were Soldiers, or would see if you've seen the movie We Were Soldiers with Mel Gibson and Greg. What's his name? Anyway, it's got Barry Pepper in it as well. Madeline Stowe's in it. Chris Klein is in it as well. Greg Kinnear is in it as well. So it's called We Were Soldiers. It is one of the lesser seen war movies, and that's a shame because it's a fantastic war movie. Vietnam, to be specific, if you haven't been able to tell. It tells about how it's the first massive battle between U.S. troops and the North Vietnamese, and it's a fantastic movie. It's a heartbreaking movie though. It pulls no punches. It's brutal and heartbreaking. They're like, no, my God, if you think someone's safe in that movie, think again. All right, you're like, I'm really getting attached to the character. Oh my God, they just killed him off. Oh my God, what about that guy over there? I'm like, they killed him off too. It's brutal, okay? But Mel Gibson, he's the headliner. of the movie, directed by Randall Wallace, who is him and Mel Gibson have the connection because Randall Wallace wrote Braveheart. Okay, and so that's the connection right there. But great movie, check that out. And I mentioned that because it sounds like First Lieutenant Marm, who I just read the citation for, all that stuff that I read about him doing, that was during the events that you would see if you watched the movie We Were Soldiers. So check that movie out. I'm sure it's like a Hulu or Netflix or Amazon or something, video on demand somewhere. Check that out right there. But anyway, without further ado, that has been the movie Military Moment. All right, and let's drink to the lieutenant here, shall we? Excellent. All right. And all right, real quick here, just let me take a minute here to ask you, if you are watching this show right now and you are appreciating it enough to maybe throw a buck or two my way, by all means, you can certainly do that. And I'm about to let you know how you can do that, okay, if you are so inclined, okay? So if you're checking me out on Rumble, all you have to do is, if you're in the live chat on Rumble, just go down by where you type in your live chat and click the button with a $sign on it, and it'll just ask how much you want to throw my way, and that's it. Very simple. And then if you're checking me out on the Tube of Views, or YouTube, as it's more commonly called, you can do the exact same thing. Pardon me, sorry. Beer burp. Ooh, boy, that's not very cool. Anyway, so YouTube works very similarly to the way it works on Rumble. So down by where you type in your live chat, in the old live chat box, just look for a button. But this button's going to have a dollar bill on it. And when you click on that, it's going to give you the opportunity to donate some money my way right there. Again, that's only if you feel compelled to. But just wanted to mention that here in passing. Okay, so yeah, there you go. And again, I can't always afford to donate and support people financially when I'm watching their shows. So I totally get it. Or you might just in good faith, honestly, think, hey, Van, you don't deserve it. So what is this? I just noticed this. The software put it changed my name on there. Let's do that. There we go. God, geez. What else is this software doing? So yeah, I am not sketchy Jesus. Not today, I'm not. There you go. All right. So anyway, enough about me begging for money. Okay. So now, right now is typically the time where I tell you what movie is going to be on the docket for me to review for this next week. And I'll tell you, I was struggling. I didn't see that there was like a monumental movie, a movie of note coming out this weekend that I was going to spoiler-free review this Sunday and go over in more depth next Thursday. But I did finally find one, and I don't know what the box office numbers on this sucker is going to be, but it's the new movie from Ron Howard. Okay, I think it's been a while since we heard from Ron Howard. Obviously Ron Howard, the legendary director, behind such hits as Splash and Backdraft and Apollo 13, and got many other great movies. Ron Howard, or Ransom, another great Ron Howard movie. A Beautiful Mind. So a lot of great movies, but he's kind of fallen off a little bit recently. Hell, he made a god-awful Solo movie. And now he is making the movie that will be the focus of Movies Merica here for the next week. It's called Eden. Okay, so as in like the Garden of Eden, not in eating a lot. No, not eaten, not like eaten. No, Eden. So like Garden of Eden. There you go. So yeah, that's like a new movie. I think it's got Sydney Sweeney and her massive Sweeneys in it. And then who else has it got in it? Oh, it's got Anna de Armas. So it's got some good scenery in this movie. Who's it? Jude Law, I think it isn't. So maybe some good scenery for the ladies there, or fans. Anyway. I was about to say something that has nothing to do with movies, but it by far had way too little to do with movies. So I decided to abort mission. Okay, but the point is, Eden is going to be the movie that I will be spoiler-free reviewing this Sunday on the Movies Merica live show. And that comes on this Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, and 1 p.m. Pacific time, or specific time, as some people say there. But and then a week from tonight, Eden will be the focus of the Movies Merica spoiler warning show. And of course, if you're watching the show, you know what time this comes on, or maybe you do. So that show a week from tonight, Movies Merica spoiler warning, comes on at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, 5 Mountain, and 4 Pacific on your YouTube or Rumble dial. Okay, there. And so, yeah, we'll see how that movie Eden is this weekend there. Again, like I was touching on earlier, I hope it's a great movie. I am rooting for every movie to be good because I'm one of the people that's got to sit through that sucker. Okay, and so I'm hoping for some good stuff right there. So kind of looks kind of gives me like the vibes that you get from remember that Leo DiCaprio movie, the Beach, or what's the other one? God, the Lord of the Flies. It kind of has kind of that, maybe that kind of feel to it, with a little bit of Castaway thrown in there. Maybe a smidge of Castaway with Tom Hanks in there. So anyway, so all right, double checking everything here again, doing some house cleaning on here, housekeeping up here in the show. And so good. All right, there we go. So we're getting ready to wrap up this show here, and so I just want to. Before we wrap up here, I just want to let you know or ask you and implore you, if you would, to follow me on the platforms that I'm on. So I am on X, and I'm on there under @MoviesMerica. So all these platforms, you're pretty much going to be able to find me under @MoviesMerica or Movies Merica. Okay, so X under @MoviesMerica. I'm on Facebook. I got a Movies Merica page on Facebook. I've got my Van Ebert profile on Facebook if you want to follow that as well. I'm on Gab and Rumble, of course. Now, if you're looking for Movies Merica on Rumble, you're going to see like 2 or 3 Movies Merica accounts on there. Go ahead and feel free to like and subscribe to all 3 of them. That would be fantastic, just to cover all the bases there. And I'm on Instagram under @Movies Merica as well. I don't update that very much, to be purely honest, right there. So I'm not a big fan of the Instagram platform right there. I think it's kind of okay. But anyway, but yeah, and then if you follow me on any of those platforms, feel free to DM me. That's direct message for all you civilians that don't know what that means. DM me under my X account. Again, my X account is @Movies Merica. Or you could use the comments section on this episode or any of my episodes and just say, "Hey, Van, Knucklehead, I followed you on this platform and that platform and that platform, and I will follow you back on those platforms right there." Okay, so I think that's too much for you to ask me to do there. I'm more than happy to do it right there. You help me out, I'm gonna help you out there. Okay, so but also, hey, I don't want to leave my buddy hanging here, Lindy Ring 87. He was in the live chat earlier, and so I always like to promote my buddies here as much as I can. So I bring up Lindy Ring 87 to say that Lindy Ring 87 is another great content creator on Rumble as well, and he doesn't do movie stuff. He does shows of a different tilt on Rumble, but they're fascinating and entertaining there. And so just look up Lindy Rig or Lindy Rig 87 on Rumble and check his stuff out there. So there you go. All right. So, and then of course, any episodes, including this episode, if you know anybody that maybe you're that they're into movies, or even if like a little minuscule thought pops into your head that, I think my cousin Joey is into movies. Hey, send cousin Joey the link to my show or this episode or whatever, if you send Cousin Joey the link to any of my episodes, then he'll be able to get to the rest of my episodes and all that stuff. So Cousin Joey, he's smart enough. He's got enough of a big enough melon in his head there to figure it out right there. So, and that's how we operate here. So there you go. That's the clumsy way I promote my show here on Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. But all right, let's wrap this bad boy up. But hey, again, I want to thank Christian Toto for being my very special guest here on the show. And with that, like I always say, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya.
Howdy, my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. Would you do me a favor and check me out at solo.to/moviesmerica? That's where you would go for a one-stop shop for all the links that have to do with me, Movies Merica. And then also, if you want to check out the audio-only podcast versions of my Movies Merica live episodes, that's my spoiler-free reviews that I do on Sunday, you can go to moviesmerica.com or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, places like that. And then, actually, if you would also check me out on the social media sites like X and Instagram and Facebook and Gab. And I'm on those locations all under @Movies Merica. So it is very easy to find me out there, all right? So get to it, everybody. All right, thanks for watching. Later.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got the popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'll be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right, thanks for watching.